We're not just normal tonight. We're... to another jam-packed action edition of David Lee Madison's The End of the Night. I, of course, am your host, David Lee Madison, and this right here is my dear friend, my co-host, my producer, my grand poobah, my big boss, the man, the cheese whiz, the king, the boss. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Joe Ridgely. Joe, how the hell are you?
I am fantastic. I don't even know how to speak after that introduction. I mean, I need to get bank for that. I mean, that's amazing. Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. Super excited tonight. We have all kinds of paranormal guests on tonight.
All right, so David, how often does somebody have one person from the Warren Legacy Foundation on?
It's probably an honor to have one.
We have three.
We have three. That's why we rock.
So
that's why I'm sitting here using.
She is watching from
Central Texas. Carrie Lane, one of my favorite places in the world, is in Central Texas. I grew up in Coppers Cove, Texas, which is right outside of Killeen. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that area, but welcome to the show. Thank you for watching. So how the hell are you, Joe? What's cooking? What's going on with the network? What's going on with you?
I am great. Everything's are getting the back of swing on the network. Wendy's got a show coming up on Thursday night with some independent filmmakers. That's going to be a blast. JW has taken a few weeks off. He's been a little under the weather, so we should see him next Monday night with Rich. Other than that, conventions. It's a beautiful thing.
It looks like we have a whole bunch of new visitors tonight.
Yeah, cool. Look at that. Let's see. We got Jeff.
Hello. How are you, Jeff? Thank you for watching. And the young lady, Carrie Elaine, is from Killeen. That's so cool. Hello from Florida. Hi, V.
Hi.
Hey there. How are you?
Not a question. Just thumbs. Oh, because you say hey there with a question mark. Okay. Right on.
So, that's all good stuff. I'm excited. You know, we're getting really close. I dropped a little promo poster for Full Moon Fever, Joe, and I wanted to ask you, when you first seen it, did you see the eyes in it?
I don't recall.
You didn't even see the poster, did you rat bastard?
No, I saw the poster. I told you about the poster. Jeff's saying he's here to harass the guests. That's awesome. Did you send me the poster to put on here?
No.
Did you want to?
Well, I don't care if you do, but I was just curious if you saw the eyes. You know,
right,
it's funny because I asked, like, the whole poster's theme is to, like.
All right, for those new joining us, if you don't know what we're referring to, writer director David Lee Madison, his new movie is coming out in October. It's Full Moon Fever, and Mr. Schiaffo's in it as well. It's a werewolf movie. It's going to be freaking spectacular.
Is it a werewolf movie, or is it a guy who just needs to shave badly?
And has fleas? But yes, that we got.
You know what I noticed about our guest tonight?
What's
Apparently, these guys attract beautiful women.
Yeah, I see that. I mean,
it's like Charlie's Angels on the side of this board with all these beautiful. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for joining us tonight. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so I put out the poster. It's got a little werewolf action going in it, but it's did you find my husband?
Oh.
Oh, I didn't know he was missing. I'm sorry. That sucks.
Let me see if I can find the poster real fast. I see the eyes.
Oh, you see the eyes finally. You see the
I see the eyes. Hold on a second. All right, let's get this puppy up here. Yeah, I'm taking forever. It is what it is. Talk.
Oh, dead air, dead air.
Yeah, no dead air. I'm loading stuff.
Oh, that you could actually see the eyes there.
You can see the eyes there. Now, see, I didn't pick up on that when I saw it on my phone on Facebook.
You know what's so cool about that particular frame? That this is nothing official. The distributor didn't put this out. I'm just tired of them waiting forever to put stuff out. That literally is a frame from the film, and it's taken at the very moment when one of the characters' hand is right in front of the werewolf. And
I could kind of see the
you could kind of see the hand and the fingers of that poor bastard who's about to be eaten. So yeah.
Oh man, these comments are just flying in. It looks like they're hanging out with each other. I'm looking for my husband.
Yeah, it looks like they're giving away their husbands.
Hey, take my wife, please.
I think my wife.
Is that how that works?
I think my wife would sell me for a breakfast burrito, to be honest with you, and she'd be getting a good deal, a really good deal. So we got Grunkle Scott hanging out in the green room.
We do, but you know what we're gonna do first?
What are we gonna do first?
We're gonna do that like little promo thing first. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are new tuning in for the first time, go to David Lee Madison's The End of the Night on Facebook. Give it a like and subscribe. Also, go to the Indie Escape Network. Hit the like, subscribe, all that good stuff on, what is it, Facebook and YouTube. And I lost my thing that usually tells me where they are.
There's nothing worse than going through life without your thing.
Without my thing. Go to the Indie Escape Network on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and what's that other one? Instagram.
It's not Twitter anymore. It's like Porno X now or something. I'm not sure exactly. Something to that. I think Ken, how the hell are you, Ken? I hope you're well. I'm sorry. I'm in a weird mood tonight because I'm getting up tomorrow, and I'm hopping in the car, and me and my family are driving throughout all of Canada. So we're touring Canada, so I'm kind of like in a really good kind of mood tonight. So it's going to be unlike every other 200 episodes we've done. Hi, Elaine. I hope you're well.
Elaine.
Can we bring up the Lord of
Darkness?
Of Darkness himself?
Let me see
Dracula.
if he's ready. Give me a thumbs up, Lord of Darkness. He's confused.
Ladies and gentlemen, you didn't even let me introduce him.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen,
I figured I'd bring in the shock factor.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, Grunkle Scott Schiaffo. Grunkle Scott, how the hell are you, pal?
I'm really good. Lord of Darkness.
Well, you're always in the Batcave, so, and somebody else was talking about a Batcave behind the scenes, so I think, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, Scott. Is that bad?
Grunkle Scott, I wanted to comment first off. Thank you for being a good friend, and it was you started sending me the music for Full Moon Fever, and you're putting together some really awesome shit. So thank you. Really, it's fitting in fantastically. Your talent as far as composing for films and getting music together for films is almost unparalleled. So it's an honor to work with you again, good sir.
That's very, very nice to hear. That makes me very happy, and nice the music's going to have a home in a very, very cool film, a film that I know means a lot to you. So that's wonderful to hear for a guy who recently became a garbage bale kid this week.
Oh man, let me find that picture. That's on your page, right?
I think it is. That was pretty shocking. I didn't expect that.
Speaking of garbage pail kids, was that not Katie Barberi's movie that we had, or is she something
Yeah,
else?
yeah, no, she was in the garbage pail.
I want to congratulate Katie Barberi because I just seen her on a national commercial. She's
Wow.
playing a bus driver and she's singing, and it was absolutely cool to see her. It's played up here in the Northeast like 3 or 4 times an hour.
You know, I thought I saw somebody that looked a lot like her, and maybe that's what I saw.
Was she singing? Was there a bus driver singing?
Oh gosh, you know the details now are, you know me, I'm burnt.
Yeah, it's been out for about 3 weeks now, and it's a national ad campaign, and she's one of the stars of the commercial. So congratulations, Katie. That's absolutely fantastic, and keep up the good work.
So there's a lot of people saying hi to Scott. Yeah, you know, you guys are going to give me a complex. Whatever.
Everybody loves Scott.
Right?
Well, that's what happens when you become a garbage pail kid.
Garbage pail kid. He keeps bringing up the garbage pail. There's the garbage pail kid.
Truly.
Now, is that gum?
Or intestines. It's human intestines, I think.
No, wait, is it a combo platter based on Clerks III?
I think that the set is based on Clerks 3, I believe. But it happened pretty quickly because I got notice from Tops, and usually these things take a while. Then all of a sudden, bang, somebody posted it, the artist, who's incredibly talented. He did a wonderful job on everything. But I'm happy because they got the Belushi eyebrow.
Yeah, I'm very glad that you had that surgery to remove those Popeye forearms that you had back in the day. It's very, you look much more svelte now. It's pretty epic. Liked David's page and added the Indie Escape as well. Saw the ad for this on a page I admin for, so just had to. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That's awesome. That's awesome. Anybody from Killeen is a friend of mine. Looks like Scott's leaving. He's like, I've had enough.
No, my cat is crazy and just like losing her mind tonight.
Does she have the zoomies tonight? Is it a zoomie kind of problem?
What's zoomy mean? Zooping around?
Zoomies is when the
Speeding
cat
around.
just runs around 90 miles an hour for no apparent reason. My cat does that once a day at 10 o'clock. You could literally set your watch to it. He runs around like a lunatic, and then the rest of the day he plops his ass on me and sleeps like... I mean, I wish I could find a woman who wants to be on top of me as much as that freaking cat.
Woo! Zing! Yeah, you know, they people say cats are nocturnal, but they're not truly nocturnal, but they do have those windows of time when they're younger where they make their own fun. Carrie and I call it, she's making her own fun.
You know what's so funny? My cat literally sleeps 26 hours a day. I didn't think it was possible. So I don't know if sometimes I look at it and say, "Hey, Doof, are you alive?" But
All right, this isn't going to become the old lady cat show. We have guests.
Okay, I apologize, Joe. Bring up the
Yeah,
guests.
we do. We have
the real gentleman.
Free guests.
Yes,
Free
we
guest
do.
tonight.
I'm going to start popping them up, and then we are going to have a grand old time. So we.
Woo!
Woo! Thank you, gentlemen. Bill, Joe, Chris, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's an absolute honor and a privilege to have you guys on.
We're very pleased to be here. Thank you very much, guys. You guys are very fun. And I can't wait to see your movie, Dave.
Oh, thank you.
It looks great.
I got one. Yay! One person's lined up.
And I would like to clear up some things right now before you have problems with this chat.
Okay.
V is my wife.
Oh,
And
okay.
you're saying we have 3 people from the foundation here, but you also have 3 in the chat also.
Oh,
Yes.
Wow.
Especially Jeff coming to harass us. So
Yeah.
No, me.
Jeff,
He came to
Jeff,
harass me.
Stephanie,
yeah, Stephanie, Jeff, and who else was I? Saw
Tammy.
somebody else.
Tammy.
So don't take this
Oh,
the
okay.
wrong way, Bill. But how did
Oh, and Kimberly Trent.
Yeah.
how did a hideous mook like you get such a beautiful wife?
No way to take that bad.
It's magic.
I get that a lot. No.
You're using mind tricks, aren't you? You.
She said,
What are
"Me
you
too."
do, Joe? Are you just sniffing your own armpit?
No, I was pointing at the comment. Come on.
Oh, okay. It looked like you were
Except
sniffing your own
I'm at
armpit.
the
It was
wrong-
pretty horrific. You're like, "Am I ready to do the show?" No.
Well, I'm usually where Chris is, so pointing down is kind of awkward.
All right, gentlemen, my show is very light, as you could tell, and I'm not very bright, so don't take anything I say the wrong way. Why don't you guys, to start the show, tell us about, because I know it's extraordinarily important to you guys, tell us what we need to know about the foundation.
All right. I guess I'll start because I'm the director of the foundation.
Mhm.
I started this with my grandmother, Lorraine Warren. Uh, right after the first Conjuring movie came out, we wanted to expand our mission around the world. I had already lived I've lived currently in over 90 places in the world. So I've got a lot of experience dealing with paranormal everywhere. And we wanted to do something that would help people outside of the northeastern part of the United States. And my grandmother loved the idea. We ran with it. Today we offer services everywhere except Antarctica. Everything is free. It's confidential. Our job is both to help our clients primarily, that's number one. And number two is to educate the public, educate the next generation of researchers, and try to infuse some ethics into what is kind of a Wild West mentality, especially online and on television. It's
Sorry.
that's not us.
Didn't mean to laugh about the on television.
Guys, go ahead. Speak
Joe,
up.
Bill,
Joe.
do you have anything
Sure.
you want to say about the foundation before we dive
Oh,
in?
finding Chris originally and getting in with the foundation is exactly what I always wanted to do because it's what I've been doing for 35 years. I'm primarily a residential specialist where I go into people's homes and, I mean, we like going out and doing public stuff too, but mostly that's what I was focused on all these years. I've been part of, I don't know, 500-600, cases over the years. And it really is about, helping everybody. And like Chris said, also educating. I mean, when I go to these conventions and I do lectures all over in libraries, schools, conventions, everything it's a little entertainment, but it's also to try to educate people on what's real, what's not, understand. I love TV. I've been on a couple of the shows and stuff. But it's teaching them what's entertainment and what's real is a tough thing.
Now,
What about
I'm sorry, was
What
somebody
about-
about to speak?
I thought
No, go ahead.
Joe.
Joe should speak up because he started working with my grandparents back in 1986. He's
Oh, wow.
had a good long run himself.
Yeah, I mean, Chris and I are old friends. I met Ed and Lorraine actually at one of their lectures back in 1986. And it's I tell the story a lot, when I lecture, because people want to know how I got started, how I met the Warrens, what were they like. And I'm like, well, I knew them as people. I knew them intimately as people, not as the world renowned Warrens. And I went to the lecture, and I remember Lorraine looking at me. She was looking at me like as if she knew me, and she said, "Honey, have we met before?" She called everybody honey. She was such a sweetheart. And I said, "No, Lorraine." I said, I've heard a lot about you. I've seen you on television and read about you in print media, and but I've never met you before. It's the first time I've attended one of your lectures. And she's looking at me, and I didn't know what she was doing at the time, but she explained later she was reading my aura, that supernatural glow that everyone emanates from their bodies. And she was reading my aura, and she said, there's a reason why you're here tonight. She goes, come see Ed and I after the show. So I was very excited. Again, I was 18 years old in 1986. Couldn't keep a thought in my head. I'm like, wow, what do they want to talk to me about, So after the show, Lorraine's so sweet. She's answering questions, people, and Ed's like, come on, Lorraine, we got to go. Let's go. Come on, kids, we got to go. So we went across the street to a diner, and I'm sitting across from Lorraine, and she was holding my hands, and she's reading my aura, and she said, honey, you were meant to do this work. I can tell. She said, would you like to come and work with Ed and I? And I'm like, yeah. So, the rest, as they say, is history. I started going to, they used to have classes. And that's when I first heard about the cases behind the Conjuring movies, the Amityville case, the Annabelle doll. Ed would bring into the classes his tape recorder and his notes, and he would play tapes from their interviews, from the cases. And, It was just fascinating. I worked on many cases with them. I think it was a couple of years before it allowed me to go out on my own because he had to make sure I was ready. Like Chris said, what we do is real. It's not like you see on TV. Watching some of these shows, and they're very entertaining. So if they're going for the entertainment factor, some of them do a great job, but they don't accurately depict how a true investigation goes. The people that we want to help want complete anonymity. They don't want to know. They don't want to be on TV. They don't want, they're scared. They're frightened. And it's our job to help them overcome their fears, face their fears. I said, look, I'm not going to throw a proton pack on my back and come in like a Ghostbuster. That's not how it works. Well, we're going to help you help yourself. So it's a lot about helping people the right way, and not everything is a demon, as Hollywood would like you to believe, because what does that do? That sells tickets and he puts butts in the seats, but we also, like Chris said, we want to educate future up and coming would-be investigators as well as the general public. So
now
Yeah.
as a filmmaker, I must be like the biggest schmuck in the face of the earth because I keep tempting fate. I keep trying to find something that's going to be really scary and fucked up. And 1988, me and my late dear friend Tom Morales, who's my dearest closest friend, who just passed away at 51, sadly, we broke in 1988 to the Amityville house because, as you know, throughout most of the 80s, the house was in between owners, and on the side of the house there are what are those slat glass windows that are in basement? What do they call those little glass? Back in the day, the old houses had the glass windows that would.
oh yeah, the louvers.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
had like. So me and my moron friend with our boom box and our traveling Wilbury CD and our Huey Lewis and a new sports CD said, "Hey, it's Goosey night. Let's break into the Amityville house, drink beer, drink Meisterbrow, and see if some weird shit happens." So we literally stayed in that house overnight. At about 2 o'clock in the morning, we decided to, because nothing was happening other than us getting shit faced. We went around the corner and there was a bar that had a guy singing in it, and we to this day were convinced it was Jim Morrison, but that's another story.
Must have been some good beer.
No, and I shot the a scene in the Devil's Den in where the Great Civil War fight happened over in Pennsylvania, and my new film Full Moon Fever almost was shot entirely on Clinton Road in New Jersey. So like would you guys say like I'm looking for trouble, or is there, you really can't look at things that way? And I'm not trying to be an obnoxious dick. I'm being sincere. I look to find this kind of stuff because I'm so attracted to it, and I want to see like if there's any kind of good mojo there. If I'm gonna, like, if I make a horror film at one of these places, is it gonna enhance the quality of the film, or do things not work that way?
My grandmother would tell you that it depends on what energy you're putting out in there.
Mm-hmm.
If you're putting out negative energy, you're going to attract something negative. If you're putting out positive energy, it'll be positive. We have found that in reality, people who are dealing with negative hauntings they have underlying issues that we have to deal with. It's not as simple as they use the Ouija board, because millions of people use Ouija boards.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at what was it that made this manifestation so terrifying. Is it simply their own fear, and their ignorance of what is there? The footsteps in the hall, as I often say, are usually not the devil. It's usually your grandmother or the old man that lived in the house for 35 years. Mm-hmm. And your own perception of it is what makes it terrifying. Hanging on the Amityville case, the house, though, yeah, that's tempted fate. That's not smart.
I mean, come on.
You know why? The thing is, if you happen to walk into something that was real, and I'm not talking about just a ghost, on a rare occasion of something demonic or that negative, if you walked into that and it came out, you guys would have no way to protect yourself. You would not know what to do at that point.
Okay.
And that's really the only thing tempting. I mean, we tempt, I guess, technically every time we go into a place, but we're usually well protected. And it's, you can tempt it a little bit. It's can be dangerous, but then again, also, if you keep just going in and looking, you can manifest something yourself that may not be fully real, but it could absolutely
Self-manifestation.
happen. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Fully adjusted people with ordinary area. I am anything but fully adjusted, so it should work for me. So it's it's so funny because I go in
Just
with
don't use drugs or alcohol because
No.
you're going to open
I
yourself
was
up
using it.
damn heavily to something.
It's funny because I go in with like an overwhelming feeling of excitement. Like I really want to see something. I don't want to cause any, spirit or anything harm or be disrespectful. I guess there's a part in everybody's life that they really want to know that perhaps there is something after what we do here now, and I think experiencing something that's fantastic like this is the answer to that all of humanity is looking for.
Well,
So, I
David,
mean-
did you go into the house as an observer, or did you? What was your intention? Did you
My intention
practice
was
any forms of divination? Did you play with the Ouija board, or
no. I drank beer and listened to Traveling Wilburys and was hoping
Okay.
to see like the walls bleed or.
did you watch porn? I mean,
No, back in 1988, there was no phones to watch porn on. It was literally a Sony boom. If it was now, we would have watched porn. But in 1988, it was a Sony boombox and 3 of our favorite records and 2 cases of Meisterbrow because they were only $6.99 a case back then. And we were hoping
Nothing but the best.
nothing but the best. We were hoping like a spiritual dude would sit next to us and be like, "Yeah, I love the sports record, man." Something like that would have been awesome. All kidding aside, honestly, it was
I think you were looking for an acid trip, not somebody to.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
Stephanie made a good point here. Spirits don't perform on command.
No, I understand that.
If you go in there, well, not Amityville. Don't go there. Please,
No.
don't go there. But when you go into a location, you go in respectfully. You go in understanding that those spirits are people too. And that we must treat them exactly like you would treat the guy you just passed on the street. Well, hopefully you're a nice guy and not a jackass when you pass people on the street.
Yes.
Well, it's funny
I have
because
a question about Amityville, guys.
Okay.
I'm very open-minded. I'm not a doubting Thomas or naysayer to anything. I keep an open mind. I thought not long ago a lot of the Amityville legacy was brought out to be fabricated.
No,
The novel isn't fabricated.
not at all. No.
Wow.
It was easily one of the worst cases of my grandparents' careers. They always said it was the worst. I don't agree with that.
it was one of the bad ones. Yeah.
It was horrifying. It really almost killed them a couple of times and it attacked them in their home.
Okay, so let me just say that I wasn't even aware that the Warrens got involved with Amityville. I just remember reading something not long ago, and you can't believe everything you read, but I thought that they were disputing some things because the guy was desperate to sell the house and the murders had happened, but everything else was kind of fabricated, but that's not true.
No, they left every single thing they owned behind. I've got photos to prove it. All their gun collection, their coin collections, the clothing, the food, everything was left behind. The only thing they asked my grandfather to get from the house was the deed so they could sell it.
They wouldn't even meet him at the
They
house.
never even made a penny off of the movies or the book. Not a penny.
Is the movie at all close to what went down, or you can't say?
I don't trust Hollywood.
I mean, Hollywood takes a lot of liberties with these stories, even with the Conjuring films. I remember talking to Lorraine shortly after the first one came out. I'm sitting in the kitchen with her, and we're talking about it. So, Lorraine, did this really happen? She's like, "Oh, honey, that's Hollywood. That's James Wan. They take a lot of liberties, and Chris and I talk about this all the time. It's like if they would just take the time to tell the story the way it really happened, it's far more interesting
and
you
more
know,
terrifying.
more terrifying. They just
Conjuring 2 was ridiculous. They combined Amityville with a fake nun monster and a case in Enfield. The case in Enfield was terrifying. My grandparents didn't have a lot to do with that case in reality, but the case itself was far worse than what they portrayed in The Conjuring. Yeah, Hollywood, they're there to make money. That's all. Period.
Yeah, I grew up on Huntington Harbor, and so I wasn't too far away from Amityville, and we used to visit there a lot. But question for you guys pertaining to Amityville: how does everyone feel about, I don't know, the 19 Amityville sequels or
Amityville Shark, Amityville Island. Yeah. I actually
Don't make
got a
any fun.
call
I just signed to
from-
direct Amityville Shoe Salesman, so please.
and Eddie Neal's going to be in it?
You know
I
what?
to see that.
But you know what? Growing up through the '80s too, I appreciate a lot of those low budget things. If you can laugh and get a good laugh out of it, then it's worth it. If you can't laugh and it's that bad, then no, it's But I mean, I don't think I've seen every one, but I've probably seen most of them.
Was there an Amityville Sharknado? I don't remember.
No, there was another Amityville Shark.
There's
There was.
a bunch that I came across not too long ago that were just beyond. I mean, it really didn't even have anything to do with Amityville. I don't know why they're even using the name in it, but
you know exactly why they're using the name in it.
But it has really
It's a
nothing
cash
to do with
grab.
the movie.
I mean, it's kind of iconic. Just about everyone's heard about Amityville.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I remember hearing firsthand. Matter of fact, early on in my relationship with the Warrens, my wife and I, we were just dating at the time, and we were at the house, and Ed was telling me when they returned from Amityville, he said, they had a staircase leading down into his Halloween room off the kitchen area, and he was telling me the story of he heard this tremendous thundering noise like sheet metal rattling, and all of a sudden this wind, like this tornado like wind, was coming up from the basement, and he said this big black mass as tall as the ceiling came up the stairs, and I'm sitting there, and every hair on my body's standing up. I was about maybe 21 years old at the time, and I said, "Where did that happen?" He goes, "Right about where you're standing." I said, "Can I use the
There was a
bathroom?"
lot more to that particular incident. It was pretty terrifying.
Yeah, and that happened like very
That was the
soon
night
after
they
we
were
were
invited to go to Amityville. And they were invited, by the way, by Channel 5 News out of New York.
Rollins Smith. Was that the DeFeo family?
The
The
DeFeos
original.
were the ones that were murdered by
Murdered,
Ron
yeah.
DeFeo Jr.
Yeah.
But-
It was the Lutzes who bought the house later. And George and Kathy suffered terribly throughout their lives after that.
Yeah.
One of them, a guy named Chris Lutz, he is totally messed up, wanted by the FBI. He called me when I was in the jungles of Colombia to threaten me because he thought I was making Amityville movies. Yeah, he's actually wanted by the FBI for trafficking women and rape and a bunch of other things.
You know,
Ooh,
what's the
cool.
coolest thing about that house? And I don't know if coolest is the greatest term to use, but what's the strangest thing about that house? It's the most unassuming place you ever seen. The block is super residential. The bay is literally right in the backyard. Is that what most people don't realize? Is that
Yeah,
that's
because
a
at the
waterfront?
boathouse out there.
Yeah, is a water.
You know they moved it, right?
They moved the house.
Yeah, they actually moved the house to a new road.
Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't.
Yeah. Yeah, when you were there in '88, that was probably the original location.
Mhm.
But they have since moved it, and they got rid of the famous windows.
Windows, yes,
Yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
about that.
Sounds like the Michael Myers house. They moved the Michael. I mean, I know that's a movie. No disrespect, but I think that's pretty cool that instead of tearing it down, the Michael Myers house, which is a beloved piece of horror cinema, they moved it from where it was to right across the street next to the train tracks, and is now a realty office, which is pretty cool.
Well, another fact about that house that I don't think is very well known is that when the Lutzes moved in, just about all the furniture from the DeFeos was still there.
Right.
They slept in the very beds that the family was murdered in. Not the same mattress or box spring; those were different. But the beds themselves, and from what I understand, there were still like bullet holes in some of the wood. But the furniture, because they didn't clean the house out, so it was kind of sold as is with the furniture, and that even gave me some creepy crawlies. I don't think I'd want to be sleeping in a bed where I knew someone was murdered.
So
Is
would you say
anybody
that
living in
the-
it now? Oh, sorry, Joe.
I apologize. I'm curious though. The most recent docu-series, would you guys consider that the most accurate?
Never saw it.
Well,
I don't know if I've seen it yet.
Oh, okay. It came out recently. It's a 4-part series, I think, on the house.
there's a lot of problems because there's a lot of different versions even between the family. Like I had a guy on my team that I knew very well for many years. His name was Tim Yancey. He's very known in the industry. He was a great guy. He's the type of person that would, like these guys, would never associate with people who were, lying and faking and doing all kind of stuff. He suffered a violent haunting when he was young. I believe he also had worked a little bit with Ed and Lorraine, and he also became really good friends with George Lutz. And he used to travel around with George doing conventions and stuff about Amityville. So I had asked him a lot of things too. There's no way he would associate with this guy if he knew there was anything fake about that story. Not saying everything they're saying is real, but
Sure.
the fact that he was just doing it to make money and stuff, I don't think anybody
But the son
close
was
to it.
involved in this docu-series, I believe.
Which one?
It's the docu-series that just came out recently.
no.
I believe their son was involved.
Daniel,
with it.
there's
Yeah.
Daniel Lutz.
Is that the one that's called My Amityville?
Yes, I believe so.
Miamityville
It's
That was
Horror?
like 5 years ago, I think. Or
Oh
No,
no,
that
this
was like
one
10
came
years
out-
ago.
No, this one.
This
came
is
out
a new
this
one.
year.
It's a whole series.
Oh, okay.
I've
It
seen
was like 4
part of it.
episodes, I think.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one Daniel Lutz did, he actually filmed with Lorraine at the house, Chris. That
Oh,
was
I
10
see
years
that.
ago. I think that was 2012 that came out. 11 years ago.
Oh, this one just came out in 2023.
Yeah, I haven't seen that,
Joe.
Joe.
Amityville
out.
Origins. Is that what it's called?
Where can
Yeah.
we see that? Is on YouTube
I think
or
it's on Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus?
Yeah, Discovery
All right.
Plus.
I'll have to check that out.
I hate to admit it, I've never watched a paranormal TV show.
I got to hit
I
on
don't
Jen's.
really watch them.
Jen, I think you probably have a very valid point there.
Yeah, I guess just for Oppenheimer.
Well, that's what I said. It's all about putting butts in the seats and selling tickets.
I'm sorry, it's new
But-
on AMC Plus.
No.
AMC.
Yeah, AMC. But you
Thanks,
know what
Joe.
though? With a movie, I mean, we all know, even for TV show, we all know it's for entertainment. I mean, you got to do what you got to do for the entertainment. Like I say about the shows and about a lot of cases I get, there's good and bad to the shows. The shows have kind of brought the paranormal out into the forefront and allow everybody like us to be talking about it now without getting locked up, But on the other hand, we deal with a lot of clients that maybe don't want to listen to us because we're telling them it's not a ghost, but yet somebody on the TV show pointed out that what they have is a ghost.
They get
So
upset with us.
sometimes,
Or worse yet, they say it's a demon.
yeah, so always. But
Yeah, and then you got to try to talk them off the ledge because, like, well, so and so said I had a demon in my house. I'm like,
yeah,
you don't have a demon in your house.
And then there's
Constantly.
demonic possessions, and yeah, okay.
I thought I had a demon, but I found out later it was just a Yankee fan. So
I thought it was gas.
it was guess. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys. I don't
So,
mean to
Chris,
make light
what-
of this, but
Well,
some of
that's
them
all
are
right.
really ridiculous. It's
Chris, what did you think of Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga's performance of your beloved family members?
It's kind of surreal, I have to admit. Vera got to spend plenty of time with my grandmother, and she adored my grandmother. I think she does a lovely job. I mean, I don't see my grandmother when I see Vera.
Mhm.
As for Patrick, the only thing he's got to go on are old YouTube clips and so forth. He's a fantastic person. He's a great actor. But there was only one scene that I saw him do where I thought, yeah, that's my grandfather. It's where I think it was in Conjuring 2, where he storms off a TV set, pissed off that some skeptic was on there, blindsiding him. That was my
He had
grandpa.
a temper.
Yeah.
He loved me though. He didn't yell at me.
This is a question that's just totally selfish because I literally live right by it, and I'm on it almost 5 times a week. Do you guys have any personal stories or personal interactions with Clinton Road?
No.
Yes. Clinton Road is, let me remember, because when I lived up in New Jersey, Clinton Road is at the, there was 2 places we used to go up there. One had a guy that used to wander the streets up there,
Okay.
off of, I'm trying to remember what road it was. Oh God, I forget. There's Gravity Hill right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the other road where this guy, that the story behind it. Now, I'll tell you, this was all through my high school and after. There was a guy on one of the roads there. It was the road right after Gravity Hill.
I
And
think it's Route 23.
Russell Ave.
Okay.
Russell Ave. So yeah, off of 23, Russell Ave. You would go off, and the story behind this was there was a guy who roamed the streets at night, and he was blind, but he looked for the car that killed, like a drunk driver that killed his daughter. So he would roam the streets at night, and of course we're all going to go. I mean, that's what we did, and I can tell you this, I don't understand it 100%. There's a lot of true stories out there about it, but I can tell you this, it was some of the creepiest stuff I've ever seen, and I've seen some bad stuff. This guy would just appear out of nowhere. He only walked between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. in the morning. And you can go there all you want before and after, you'll never see him. We would sit on the side of the road, and the guy would appear out of nowhere. And he was an older guy. He was completely blind. His eyes looked like they were sewn shut. And he would walk around smoking a cigarette and holding a little transistor radio in his hand. And he would just walk up and down the street from a certain distance to a certain distance. And the crazy part is, every car that went by, he would stop and just follow them with his head like this. But yet you can go 1 block, turn around, and he's already 7 blocks up. I have no idea how this guy moved and what he did, but he was creepy.
It's
But
just, this just brings up so many questions. Are you alluding to the fact that this was a real person, or is this an apparition?
No, this was a real person. This is a real person.
We're not talking about an apparition or a ghost or...
No. I tried. I checked it out. We pulled up right next to him in the car, and we were leaning out, looking at him, and he was just looking right at us. And then one of my dumb friends in the back seat yells, "Hey, we killed your daughter!" And then we just took off.
Oh my God!
Now, yeah, I'm all for a good time and whatever, but don't tempt fate. I don't know what the deal was with this guy, but he was there every night. I mean, I can tell you, we saw him between a span of at least 8 years. That he was still there. I don't know what the true story is on him. There was a lot of things just saying he was an old guy that just wandered out there at night, but he didn't bother you. He just walked and he just stared at everybody. And it was a very interesting thing. I mean, it was many nights driving up to that place that, after you had to be there after midnight. So, it was a late night issue.
It sounds like the Phantom Hitchhiker phenomenon.
Yeah.
The only time that I ever experienced something that made me feel uneasy is, for some reason on Goosey night, me and my daughter always are up for something really stupid. And we took a ride onto Clinton Road. And one of the biggest stories about Clinton Road is that there is a little bridge on it that supposedly a deceased girl got hit on the road because she was picking up a quarter on the road. This is what the legend is. And if you drop a coin on this bridge, she comes and takes the coin and throws it into the water, is basically what the story is. So last year, in my infinite wisdom, every year my daughter and I drive down Clinton Road because it ultimately takes us down to where they shot the Friday the 13th movies. They have the original Friday the 13th diner down there. They have the Moravian...
Nobi Bosco.
Yep, the Moravian Cemetery is right there. So it's like our Goosey Night thing to start our Halloween tradition off. So last year in my infinite wisdom, we actually pulled over on the bridge at 12 o'clock at night. And in what we thought would be an act of kindness and maybe could relieve some of this, poor child's tension, my daughter and I had an apple juice jar that over the last 5 or 6 years we just threw our quarters and spare change in. So we walked down in pitch black. All we had was cell phone light underneath the creek, and we put the big jar of coins there. Nothing unexplainable happened. Nothing terrifying happened. We both just felt something that we've never felt before, and it was extraordinarily uneasy and disconcerting. And you wonder, I mean, did something happen? Was there something going on there? Or was it just like we felt like we were pushing the envelope? Or is there something really...
But what you're leaving out is that you have a huge Halloween party every year that is full of celebrities, and not one of them would join you guys going there.
One time, literally, in my household, I had Michael Myers, I had Jason Voorhees, and a guy who played Freddy Krueger. He actually played Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger, which is the trivia question that people probably don't get. And it was one of those rare occasions when the Saturday before Halloween fell on a Goosey Night, and I said, "Hey guys, let's all hop in the car and live stream from Clinton Road," and the icons of horror literally shit their pants and said, "I want no part of it."
No.
Well, let me ask you one thing about Clinton Road, because I'm trying to remember. Is that also the one? Is that the one that has the blood stain?
Yes, Bill. To be honest with you, about as far as Clinton Road is concerned, there are so many stories about Clinton Road. There are literally 300, 400, 500 stories about Clinton Road of horrific things that occur there. So I really am not like it's just because I'm a schmuck and I want to tempt fate, so I go there all the time.
Well,
but it's really supposedly one of the most haunted places in the United States.
Acquaintance of ours made a movie.
Yes, but he didn't step foot in Clinton Road. That's the difference.
Well, I thought, and it's Richard Grieco, by the way. But
if I remember, the thing with the blood stain was, and I remember seeing it, is that I believe it was the girl who was killed in the road, and there was the blood stain from her in the road, and over, how many years it's been, tens of years, they say they keep paving the road, and after they pave the road, the blood stain appears through the paving, and I've seen it. And then gone back after they've redone the road and seen it again. So I don't know if it's, again, somebody, you got people playing too, you never know. But I have seen it there many times.
There is something definitely strange. I mean, it's a dark, spooky road. They're all over the Northeast. But there's a weird vibe in that place. But I guess if everybody says there's a weird vibe, I guess there's a part of your brain that will just...
we call it psychosomatic. I mean, it's like you've been to a place like Amityville, or going back to Amityville, you know what happened there. So when you go in there, the seed's already been planted that there's something there.
Okay, I'm going to pose this question to all three of your gentlemen. I'm going to ask you first, Joe. What is the weirdest... not necessarily scariest, but it could be scariest, strangest thing you ever personally came across that personally happened to you? Is it? I mean, if you feel comfortable saying.
Well, I mean, I've worked on so many cases through the years, but the one that was most terrifying to me was the case I was working on where I was picked up and thrown across the room.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like 350 pounds. I was a big boy. I was in my 20s. And there was something really malevolent there. And I was picked up. I left my feet, and I was probably tossed about 10 feet up against the wall. And was I scared? Yeah, I was scared. But I was more pissed off than anything else. It's like, you can't – it doesn't really matter how big and strong you are. I mean, physical size and strength has very little to do with it. You have to be strong spiritually, emotionally, psychologically to be able to handle something like that. I mean, how many
Yeah.
people out there can have that happen to them and not have them have nightmares for years after that? It's like your brain just can't comprehend what just happened to me. But you were saying earlier, am I pushing fate? Well, look, what I tell my audiences is, look, if you take a stick and you poke a tiger in the eye enough times, he's going to take a swat at you. So it's all about the intent. If your intention is to go there and use a Ouija board and try to contact something evil, or eventually something's going to happen. Ed used to tell me all the time, he's like, spirits don't come on your time, they come on their time. So they may not, you may not have a problem. You could use a Ouija board for many years and have no issues. But someday down the line, we're at your lowest point, you're depressed, maybe you have alcohol or substance abuse problem, that's when they're going to strike, or they can strike. And you are tempting fate there. I tell people, well, Joe, we went to the cemetery with a bunch of buddies and we were playing with the Ouija board. I'm like, why? What were you doing that for? Because we think something followed us home because now we're having all kinds of issues.
Can I ask you something as somebody who has, and this may sound like a stupid question, but I really have no knowledge. Like when you say Ouija board, I think of something I could buy in Walmart. Yeah. Is that really is there really something behind that?
Well, the Ouija board, it's a board game. Mm-hmm. I think it's made by Parker Brothers. It's the intention behind it. Okay, like tarot cards or crystal balls, and anything that's some form of divination. You're trying to seek knowledge of the future through supernatural means. Mm-hmm. It's almost like, at least in my religion, I was born and raised Roman Catholic. It's almost like you're putting false gods before you, which is against the first commandment. Mm-hmm. But Ouija board is probably one of the most popular forms of divination. But there are many forms, and many religions, have them. But you have voodoo, you have Santeria, that's dangerous to mess with. It really is. And
right.
Then people contact us and they'll say, I think I got something attached to me now. I said, well, it's not like you could just shake it off. It's really drives me crazy when people do stuff like this. You shouldn't go to a cemetery. Their spirits aren't there. Maybe what's left of their corpse is there, or their bones. Spirits don't hang around where their bodies are.
Same question for you, Bill.
Yeah, what I was going to say is, well, first, just to take on the Ouija board thing a minute. Mm-hmm. I tell people when I'm lecturing and I'm educating them on it, I tell them the board itself is nothing. I mean, it's a communication device like anything we use, a recorder, and anything you use, it's communication. It's all about your intent of why you're using it. Before they had an actual board, people used to just draw on a piece of paper and use a glass. It's the same exact thing. It's not, the board itself is not like spiritually charged, It's just that a majority of the people that use a Ouija board are usually two. Young people just playing around and want to be dumb. I mean, I did it in high school, and then the other side is usually people that are grieving, that are trying to find a loved one, and that's where they get in trouble. It comes in. Now, as far as me with the the things that I remember the most, kind of what Joe was saying, I've been involved in a few demonic cases, in my years. And anytime I'm on a demonic case is probably more of the most frightening things you can experience. People watch the movies. I love the movies. We know that they're all geared for, entertainment. But there are things that happen on real cases that you see in the movies, like Joe being thrown across the room. I've been places where I've had people with me full on attacked, things flying across the room. I mean, those things do exist. They are rare, but they do exist. I mean, when I go on a public ghost hunt or I'm in somebody's house, most of the time I'm not scared of that, because most of the time it's just a ghost or it's just energy or something like that. But when you're called in specifically to a demonic case, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who it's going to happen to. And it's not something you want to do. I don't look forward to going to those cases. I go to help people, but I don't look forward to getting a call like that.
So did you have any absolutely strange, bizarre shit happen to you personally?
Yeah. Well,
Something
yeah,
that you could share?
I've been knocked. I haven't been thrown across the room, but I've definitely been knocked down before. But the thing that sticks in my mind the most, I tell people, is my first ever residential case happened to be a demonic case. It was just one of those crazy things. I didn't know a lot about it. It was 1989. You know, I didn't. I was learning myself still, and I'm not going to tell the whole story because it's long, but the guy next to me, we weren't in the house 10 minutes. And the guy next to me screamed through his camera, lens first to the floor. We put the lights on and he ripped his shirt up and he had 3 razor like scratch marks from his neck to his spine. Now, there's no way he could have caused it. They were bleeding, they were brand new. And like I tell people, if this was like today, and I didn't know those people that well either, I wouldn't have believed it because I would have thought they're trying to get famous. They're trying to get, they rigged something. But this was in 1989. Nobody was talking about it. They were not trying to get famous. This was never talked about after that. But to see the person next to you get full on attacked like that will definitely stick with you. For me, it didn't scare me to where I didn't want to do this anymore. It actually made me ask a million questions. Like, why in the world did it attack him? Why didn't it attack me? What did he do different? There's a lot of questions that it brought up for me and made me probably what pushed me in this path.
Hey Joe, quickly, when you were thrown, did it feel like a professional wrestler picked you up and threw you, or were you just standing there and all of a sudden you were flying through the air with no reasonable reason
Well,
for it to happen?
we were going through this house,
Hmm.
and I don't know exactly what I was saying, but we were using religious provocation, so that poking the tiger in the eye kind of thing.
Hmm.
And it's like it wasn't almost like I was pushed. It was almost like I was sucked off my feet. Now I was 350 pounds. I was a weightlifter, all that stuff, big strong guy, and I was sucked. And I swear it had to be 10, maybe 12 feet. I hit the wall and my neck snapped. I remember, and I fell to the ground. And I got up and I was scared, but I was pissed. And I'm like, show yourself, you son of a, I won't say it here, but I was pissed because, like I started to say before, you can't fight something physically that's intangible, and grandma's ghost coming for a visit, number one, wouldn't do that. And number two, couldn't do that. They don't have the strength for that. They don't have the power for that. So I knew this was something bad, but over the years I've been punched, scratched, bitten, had marks appear on my body.
Yeah.
But that's what you sign up for when you do this work, and when you see this happen in TV and people's like, something just touched me, and they go running from the house.
Oh, we got to hear Chris's story now.
Chris, I'm sure, has got a bunch of them.
Yes, I've had thousands of
Tell us the
cases.
juiciest one.
Where to start?
Well, you didn't ask for the scariest. You asked for the weirdest.
Right.
I mean, yes, I was in bed with my cousin in a formerly poltergeist home. We thought it was clear for 2 years. And he starts yelling at me because he thinks I'm kicking the bed. I'm like, John, I'm in my sleeping bag. And the next thing you know, the bed picks up, flies across the room with us both on it, slams down and breaks into pieces. I laughed my ass off. I thought, holy God, that's the coolest thing I've ever experienced. But the experience that is truly unusual for me. And I mean, look, I'm an exorcist. I have, worked on some of the worst cases you could possibly imagine. They've made movies about them. But I was working with an exorcist in Argentina, and she contacted me one night, 2:00 in the morning. I wake up immediately knowing she's in trouble. And she's like, a spirit's just come into the room. And she was terrified. And it said something in a language she didn't recognize, but when she told me it, I recognized it as Arabic. This is in Argentina. They don't speak Arabic in Argentina. And then this apparition that looked like a woman in white, all white, got dark skin, dark long black hair, flowing desert robes, bare feet, and starts showing her images. And she's begging me for help. And the spirit looks at her and says, we know who Chris is. he can't help you. And at that point, I was like, holy God, I'm not a Christian. Okay. I'm a pastor without a religion. All right. I believe that there are many different paths to God, and every one of them is valid as long as you're seeking God with empathy and love for others. But I thought, I think I know who this is, and this is the last person I want to be knowing who I am. And it turned out when she came back again, I told the exorcist, listen, you've got to record the next time she comes back. So she didn't understand me. She gets out a rolled tape recorder the next day. She presses record to test it for 24 seconds. When she plays it back, she hears two people chanting in Arabic. I went to a friend of mine in Lebanon to translate it. It was the Lord's Prayer being chanted in Arabic. It was Mother Mary.
Wow.
Yeah. So that would be the weirdest one that I've had.
This might be a deep, straight, but bizarrely strange question, but it's a sincere question from me. After what you guys have experienced in your life, has it at all relieved the fear of death for you guys?
I have no fear of death at all. Ghosts come and go constantly. My grandmother is constantly with me. My great grandfather, her father showed up when I was 16. No fear of death whatsoever.
Joe?
No, I mean, I don't fear it. I'm not looking forward to it. Hope it doesn't happen for a while. But no, I don't really think about it much. But as long as I am here, I want to help as many people as I can, with their fears. But no, I don't fear it. I mean, it's coming. It's coming for all of us someday.
What about you, Bill?
I wouldn't say I fear it. I mean, I wish I had more answers. We do this for this many years and nobody has the answers we all want. Actually, I listen to Howard Stern, and he had Schwarzenegger on, and he said it the best when he was telling him, and he says, aren't you worried? You're getting old. You're going to die soon. He goes, no. He goes, I'm pissed off. He goes, I'm pissed off that this is going to end. He goes, I'm not scared of it. He goes, but I'm pissed off because I ain't going to have this money over there. He was just saying that, he wasn't scared of it. It's just not looking forward to it, I guess.
No, I understand. And it's funny. I think I do things like go to Gettysburg and hang out in Clinton Road and break into the Amityville house to get an answer that maybe it's just not going to be there for me. So what the hell do I know?
It will be, I promise you. My dad didn't believe at all, and he passed in October, and he's been showing up ever since. He's like, yeah, Chris, wow, it's for real.
Been close to death 3 times in my life. Oh, well, good for you, Ken. That's
so,
awesome.
David.
Yes.
We all heard how much you enjoyed the Barbie movie, and we
Barbie 44.
We kind of pitched in together and got you a little something.
Okay.
Based on tonight.
Yes. Oh, that's very
yes.
kind
That's
of
just
you.
wrong.
Oh my gosh.
Do any of you guys get this Barbie love all of a sudden?
Yeah, it was a shameless plug for Barbie movie or what?
Well, no, David made a post earlier today about the Barbie movie and how much it's making, so I figured.
Well, I'm only whoring it because Scott plays Ken in it. It's the only reason.
And if you've seen the movie, there's multiple Kens, so it's not far-fetched.
Is it a multiverse movie?
I'm Bizarro Ken.
Bizarro Ken.
My wife's been bugging me there. She wants to go.
Oh, you have my deepest condolences.
All right, gentlemen, you guys have something big coming up in September. Y'all are going to be at this Phantasm Orlando, a paranormal and horror convention. That's going to be September 15th, 16th, and 17th, I believe, in Orlando.
Yes.
Yeah, can't wait. We were there last year. We had a fantastic time, and Can't wait to do it again. Meet
You guys
some
were
great
there
people.
last year?
Yeah, we were there last year.
Damn, so
Yeah,
was
yeah.
I. I don't recall seeing you guys.
If
I'm
when you
sorry.
walked in, we were to the left because we had such a big space. We were actually right across from the Ghostbusters because they put them in the room at one point, which was funny because we have a good picture of them with all of us. But it's you know what it is a good time. We all have a great time getting together. We're going to be there. We're going to be at our booths signing autographs and talking to everybody. I'll have all my equipment out and everything for everybody to see. Um, and we're also going to be doing a ton of panels over the weekend. There's going to be panels on paranormal stuff and what we do and about the foundation and about the Conjuring movies and Ed and Lorraine and just about everything you can think of. It'll be a fun time.
Excellent. I will be there the whole weekend. I'm getting there Friday the 15th. So I'm looking forward to actually meeting. Well, I met Bill, but I'm really looking forward to meeting Chris and Joe. That's going to be.
Joe got to see my setup up there.
I did. It was freaking phenomenal. Holy crap.
Hey, just one last thing. You guys were talking about cats earlier. I'm staying in this house in Paraguay, and this pregnant cat has moved in with us. If anybody, is interested in rescuing a cat from Paraguay, let me know.
I will
Got
send the
5 of
corporate
them.
jet right away to pick up the.
Anyway, I would like to just point out that I just got a new cat about a week ago. It's a hairless Sphinx cat, and we named her Annabelle.
Oh, man.
I know Chris loves that.
Mrs.
Hey,
Bigglesworth.
she's my sister. She's the good sister.
With that
There's a lot
being
of my
said,
other
gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. Is there anything you guys want to say before we wrap this show up?
Let's give everybody a little individual action going on. We're going to start with Chris. What do you have going on, and where can everybody find you on social media if they want to follow your projects?
Oh my goodness.
No pressure.
Now, listen. What really matters to me is if you need help, please. All of our services are free. They're confidential. Go to help@warrenlegacy.com, and there's a Google form to fill out. It's both in English and French. We've got people all over the world to help you. That's what matters. If you need to reach out to me, if you need help with something, you can always find me personally on Facebook. My name, simple enough, or Warren Legacy Foundation on Facebook as well. WarrenLegacyFoundation.com. God knows the guys know more about our social presence than I do.
All right, so then we're going to put Joe on the spot then.
Yeah, no, I'll echo what Chris said. I don't have any social media accounts other than my Facebook. People can reach out to me through the Warren Legacy Foundation website, jfrankie@warrenlegacy.com. You can also catch me on Facebook. Just search for Joe Frankie. I'm on there. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I'm old now. I don't have all these social media accounts, but I am working on it. But you can get us. You can get any one of us through the Warren Legacy Foundation.
Right on. And Bill, I know you have more than just Facebook.
Yeah, I do. So again, same thing. Warren Legacy. You can find me through there too. My personal website is billslevin.com. My personal team is PERSFL.com, PERSFL.com. On all social networks for me, everything is at Slevin Paranormal. I have my YouTube channel that is starting up soon. I've been bugged for many years about why I haven't done this, and I'm working on it now. And we'll see. It's going to be different. It's not just like a channel where everybody's going to be investigating. It's going to be educational and a bunch of different things. So hopefully soon we'll be starting that.
Nice.
Actually,
And
that's one I want to bring up as well, if you don't mind. The Warren Files YouTube channel. We've got over 100 videos from all members of the foundation sharing their knowledge. It's not the haunting of the week. You're not going to see a bunch of things flying across the room, but you're going to learn a lot, and that's what we're there for.
all right, fair enough. I'm going to beat David to the punch. Guys, on David Lee Madison's The End of the Night, we do an annual holiday special. We'll reach out to you guys. If any of you are available at that time, we would love to. I know it's busy season in October, but if it fits your schedule, we would love to have
When
you
he says
back.
holiday, he means the real holiday, Halloween. Not
I'll be in Sao Paulo,
Yeah.
Bill, but I'd be overjoyed to join you guys.
Are you
Yeah.
getting evicted yet again, Chris?
Reach out, Joe. I'll be around.
Nice.
a
I do
horror
a lot of
convention.
local stuff around, September, October, November, around Connecticut, New England,
Plus Phantasm.
Phantasm.
Yeah.
I mean, my calendar's starting to fill up. I always make time. I love to talk to people about this.
Well, thank
I'm
you.
up for it.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. You are super knowledgeable. You're super cool, and I am now an extraordinarily big fan of all three of you. Thank you for joining us. You're
I'm going to
awesome.
come up. I'm going to
Our
come up
pleasure.
there and go to Clinton Road with you.
I'll
If
go.
you guys,
I
what?
would
You know what
love
you
to
guys
go.
really should do? We should all we'll come to my Halloween party, and then all of us we'll try and get the celebrity schlups to come with us, and we'll drive over to Clinton Road, and we will live stream on Goosey Night at 12 a.m. on Clinton Road at all the spooky places.
I'm in.
Next year. This year, I'm going to be in Brazil. I won't make it.
Sign
Like
me up. I'm
Brazil's an excuse. Come on.
New
Let
Jersey's
me know.
not that
Send me
far.
that. Send me that invite. I may come up.
I would love to, actually. It sounds like fun.
Bill, where are you located? What state?
I'm down in Florida right now.
Oh, you poor bastard. Joe?
I'm in Connecticut. I'm not that far.
Oh, I drive through Connecticut almost every day during the winter because my daughter goes. I live in Pennsylvania, and my daughter goes to school in Massachusetts. So
Oh, okay.
it's
What
it's a
part of
great
PA?
test. It's a great test to see how long I could hold my breath. No, I'm just kidding.
New Jersey.
I'm just teasing. I love being a ball buster because I have no real skills. With that being said, gentlemen, thank you again.
Yes,
thank
thank
you
you
for
very
what you
much.
do.
Thank you very much,
In
guys.
all
God
honesty,
Thank you for
bless.
having us.
In all
Thank
honesty,
you,
thank
guys.
you for what you do to help people, and it's really important for I literally just within the last 8 months lost my best friend, kid I grew up with.
Oh, I'm
Lost him,
sorry.
and any kind of feeling of knowing that he's okay would be awesome, and I know that you guys provide that for people, so thank you so much for what you do, and I'm being honestly sincere. I'm not being schmucky about it, so thank you.
Hey, Dave, if you want to talk, just reach out to me afterward.
No, I appreciate that, brother. Thank you very much. Ladies and
We're here
gentlemen,
for
thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
You're
guys.
great.
Thank you so much.
Thank
See you
you.
again soon, hopefully.
Absolutely,
Yes.
you're always welcome.
That was
Wow.
awesome.
That was a cool show.
That
You know
was
what's funny?
amazing.
I kept hearing EVPs. One of those guys had some kind of feedback, and I'm going to listen back to the show and find out if it's my friend.
Well,
Tom
somebody,
Gordon.
I think it was Chris. Every time he muted his mic, it went
I'm
away.
telling you, I'm going to listen back, and my friend Tom's going to be like, "You owed me $12, you bastard." Yeah. That would be pretty awesome. Thank you, Kerry. It's awesome. And yes, I'll come back to Texas if you buy me a corn dog. I love corn dogs in Texas. Texas corn dogs. It's funny. I love Texas, but hate Florida. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. It's hotter in Texas than it is in Florida. What the hell's your
That has nothing
problem?
to do with the heat. It has to do with the crazy.
The crazy, everybody from Florida is from up north. I mean, come on.
You got a point there. Joe, thank you for booking the show. That was absolutely a blast.
My pleasure.
I was really astounded at the fact that their primary thing is genuinely to help people who are really suffering with this. And it's not a joke. It's not Hollywood horror. It's not, I'm spooked. I have a ghost. Like Chris was.
They're
as genuine as
sincere.
he gets, it's all about helping people, which is so amazing, because I think a lot of people just look at this like a freak show type of thing. I had actually had a lot of questions that I held off on only because I didn't want to disrupt the flow. But
We could have done a 3-hour show easily.
I know,
There's no doubt.
exactly.
There's
Like
no
I would
doubt.
say, you're talking about entities. There's malevolent entities? Are there good entities and non-malevolent entities? And are we talking about dead spirits that are not at rest? Or
Where were you when they were here?
well, because these are the kind of things I didn't want to derail the general conversation with.
No, absolutely. You could say, hey.
Yeah, it's just my stupidity. It's nothing important. that
And
we're talking
mine. with a
And
few.
his stupidity.
But weren't you guys thinking? Aren't you wondering about these entities? I mean, you go from and what's the difference between an entity and a possession?
Scott, I've been married for 30 years. I don't question any shit anymore. I've seen horror in its seen horror in its truest form.
Oh yeah.
I've been married for 20 years. I tend to agree.
With that being said, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. The guys were fantastic. Thank you
absolutely.
again for
Yes,
putting
thank
that
those
together.
gentlemen. Wow.
And we will not be on, even though next weekend would usually be my enormous birthday show.
Yes.
This year I realized that absolutely nobody loves me. Nobody gives a shit about my birthday.
What?
So I am not going to bother doing a birthday show. I am going to drive the countryside of Canada and make fun of French people. So that should be
Get video.
So yeah, you know me. Every time I'm on the road, you see some kind of stupid picture of me like standing by a giant ditch, and oh look, it's the Grand Canyon. And
Let me throw this out there. Can't you pipe in live from the phone?
He has. Yeah.
So then, I mean, if you wanted to, you could,
I
right?
think I did from the Christmas Story house.
And I know you and I did. I think from Wits End
Oh,
screen.
the Wits End premiering, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Thank you for the kind words.
all right, well, you
Oddly
guys.
enough, I'm turning 23 this birthday, so
Times
I'll
what?
be able- so I'm excited about that.
Ladies and
With that-
gentlemen, again, if you haven't already, go to David Lee's Madison's The End of the Night. Hit the like and subscribe button. Also go to the Indie Escape Network on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I got it right the first time.
Joe, can I whore one other thing before we go?
Absolutely. I'm gonna give
Everybody
you a
who's
full
watching,
screen.
please do me a favor and join my Full Moon Fever, the film Facebook page. The film is literally going to be out in about 2 months. So 8/23, 9/20, actually a little bit more than like 2.5 months. And so I really want to get the ball rolling on that film. It's a really great werewolf film. Mr. Schiaffo's performance in it is really the stuff of legend. You did a really wonderful job playing Dr. Lawrence Talbot. Look, that's brilliant. That's brilliant right there, Dr. Lawrence Talbot. And so please like the Full Moon Fever page and check out the movie when it comes out this October. And we will be back. You know what? Maybe we'll do a birthday show next Sunday, if you don't mind me doing. I think I did it from the road in Hershey last time. A show from Hershey. Didn't I have a big brown room? It looks like I was sleeping in a
Yeah,
turd
you were in
once.
a hotel room or something. I think, yeah.
So maybe we'll be keep an eye out. We might be next week making fun of me getting old like we do every year. With that being said, I want to thank the gentlemen who joined us tonight. They were awesome. I want to thank you, Joe, for always getting my back and being just a good pal. And Mr. Schiaffo, I love you, pal. I love both of you. Thank you, everybody who watched the show tonight. And we will be back sometime soon. With that being said, remember, no man's a failure who has friends. Good night, everybody. Thank you for the Barbie Ouija board. It's very
you